Now, there's something unprecedented that has taken place in the political scene in Italy. For the first time since World War II, there has been a far-right candidate, and that too a woman, who has been elected as the Prime Minister of the country. Yes, her name is Giorgia Meloni, and she has gone about campaigning for the last few weeks and months, going about on the charge of fighting radical Islam from the country of Italy. In fact, in her pointed charter, she goes about saying that there is going to be a crackdown on mosques and madrassas in the country of Italy. Every single imam will have to get registered. The prayers that take place within madrasas and mosques will have to be in Italian language. Not just that, she also goes about saying that there is no need for more mosques and madrasas to come up in the country of Italy. Now, if you take a look at these actions that she has built and the campaigning around which she has done, it's very similar to the SOPs and rules that had been brought about by Emmanuel Macron, the President of France, right after the terror attacks that took place over the Charlie Hebdo caricatures that mocked the Prophet Muhammad and witnessed umbrage from the Islamic countries across the globe. He went about saying that every single mosque and madrasa will have to be registered, it will be scrutinized, it will be surveilled. Not just that, he went about in his diktat saying that there are not going to be separate swimming pools for men and women. He said that students over the age of 3 years will have to go to government schools and not attend homeschooling or go to illegal schools, by which he meant madrasas and mosques, to attain education. This, he said, was in his campaign to fight against spread of radical Islam in the country of France. That brings me to the big question about why have there been a flurry of activities across Europe that have led Europeans to be fearful of the Islamic immigrants in their nations. See, for instance, what happened in Sweden a few months ago. There were Qurans that were burnt on the streets. There were demonstrations that had been led by politicians in in Sweden. Just last week, on Friday, there were terror shootings that took place in the capital city of Oslo of Norway by an ISIS terrorists belonging to Pakistan. There were 2 individuals that were killed. There are several others that were injured, 10 amongst them grievously injured at this point of time. It all came across as an act of terror against the gay pride parade that was to happen next day on Saturday in Oslo. In fact, what is happening at the FIFA World Cup, fearful of traveling to Qatar, showcased the disdain that Islamic nations such as Qatar have when it comes to the LGBTQ human rights. In fact, if we also take instances of Spain, of Austria, of United Kingdom, the very instance of hate attacks that took place against Hindus living in Leicester and in Birmingham are witness to these extremist activities and voices of radical fundamentalist Islamists. Back home in India, if we take a look at the states of Assam and Uttar Pradesh particularly, there has been strong action that has been done in way of surveying and surveilling the mosques and madrasas. And not just those, even the Waqf properties that has been the initiative of Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath of Uttar Pradesh. Now, while there is a consensus across the globe that Islamophobia is not unwarranted, there have been beheadings that have taken place. Very recently in India, in Rajasthan and in Maharashtra, they took place for the Charlie Hebdo caricatures, and the teacher that went about portraying those images in front of his school students that led to that innocent teacher's killing. And there have been several of these instances that have witnessed in Austria, that have been witnessed in Finland, that have been witnessed in Netherlands, Sweden, et al. So, while we understand and are cognizant of this extremism that is spreading, there is a need to end Islamophobia as well. There is a need to demarcate what Islam is versus what these radical Islamist extremists are doing with the religion, mutating it and utilizing the religion itself to then continue with their agenda of hate, continue with their agenda of radicalism, continue with their agenda of fundamentalism, killing people, spreading terror and mayhem in the desire to Islamicize the entire globe. And while there are community leaders from across the world, whether it is in India, whether it is in Pakistan, Bangladesh, France, they all will have to appoint these leaders, appoint these nominees who will speak in favor of what moderate Islam is, what a moderate Muslim is all about, and how these noises that are being created by the extremists of Sartan Se Juda gangs, of the beheadings, of talking about only Allah and Prophet Muhammad and his preachings being the rightful ones, and every other religious community is second to the religion of Muslims and Islam, need to be debunked. I will continue to take this matter as the days and weeks pass by. There have been these big developments, unnerving developments that are coming across, not just from our country in India, but across the globe. The very recent one, like I mentioned, Oslo. There has been an appointment election of a far-right leader, a woman leader, who is vehement in her charge to eradicate radical Islam. Is that the right way to go? Is the role that has been taken forth, the rule that have been put forth by Emmanuel Macron, by the Italian Prime Minister, the new one, she is going to be taking charge, and her diktats and her rule books are going to be put in place against radical Islam, the way to go? Or is there then a more cohesive structure that can be formed in way of communication, in way of consensus, in way of cooperation and interactions, to allow for world to understand what Islam is all about and separate it from all the noise of extremism and fundamentalism that is being created by a minority few to spread mayhem and hate across the globe? Thanks for watching.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.